morning, Your Honor. This is Alan Figueroa, State Certified Spanish Code Interpreter, already sworn.
Good morning. If you could please connect with a headset.
Sí.
The defendant can hear me, Your Honor.
Good morning, sir. Please tell me your name.
Mario Silvagnoli Perez. Silvagnoli Perez.
Mario Silvagnoli Perez.
22 CF 317. You're here charged with aggravated assault with a firearm. Was the state able to get additional information in this case?
Yes, Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes, please.
I've also already given them.
All right. All right, give me a moment to review this. All right. Did you wish to be heard?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Based on that report, there is probable cause here. I see that the Office of the Public Defender was already appointed to represent you, sir. Does either party wish to be heard on bond?
Your Honor, I believe he has little to no criminal history. The state would just ask that you set a reasonable bond. And if you are trying to put him on pretrial release with a bond, just due to the allegations within the affidavit.
Anything from the defense?
Yes, Your Honor, I would ask for pretrial release and a monetary bond. It looks like he's only been employed for 2 months. He does have no criminal history, so I'd ask for a monetary bond.
At this time, I'll place you on pretrial release and require that you post a monetary bond. However, I'll reduce that amount significantly to $1,000 with special conditions. You can have no contact with the victim or any witness in this case. Do you understand what no contact means?
Cero contacto.
Yes.
Sí.
No contact.
You can't possess a weapon of any kind, firearm or ammunition. You cannot return to 8265 International Drive for any reason. Are there any other conditions the state would request?
No, Your Honor.
All right, good luck, sir.
Thank you.
Please tell me your name.
Eduardo Calixto.
Eduardo Ocalixto.
You're here in 22 CF 324AO, charged with 2 counts of sexual battery. There is probable cause. I'll appoint an attorney to represent you. Does either side wish to be heard on bond?
Your Honor, state would just ask that you take into account he does have prior arrests for causing imprisonment with a weapon, although being a different victim, and at least 5 these different victims.
No.
So state would ask to take all that into account, setting his bond as he is currently charged with 2 F2s.
And Your Honor, I would just ask that you look at the fact that his last conviction was in 2007. And setting the bond amount does not appear he has any other of his convictions. That's it.
Sí, pero ¿puedo hablar?
Can I say something?
Sir, you can say anything you wish, but everything you say is being recorded and can be used against you later. Do you understand that?
Ok.
Mr.
no,
I don't know
pues
if this
se lo
is me.
juro que
Mr.
yo soy
Interpreter, could you,
inocente.
it is,
Soy inocente.
Mr. Interpreter, could you please advise the client, I recommend he does not speak about the facts of the case, that he speaks about the facts once he gets with his attorney.
All right, understanding the advice of your attorney, sir, is there anything you wish to tell the court, or do you want to wait and speak to your attorney after court?
Sí, voy a hablar con mi abogada.
I'll talk to my attorney.
All right. At this time, sir, your bond is $50,000 on count 1, $50,000 on count 2. With special conditions, you can have no contact with the victim or any witness in this case. Do you understand what no contact means?
Sí, sí.
Yes.
You can't possess a weapon, firearm, or ammunition. You must maintain a separate residence from the victim. I'll allow a one-time return with law enforcement to gather your belongings, but you cannot coordinate that with the victim. You can have no unsupervised contact with any minor child under the age of 18. You can't possess or consume any alcoholic beverages, and you'll be subject to random alcohol screens.
Okay.
Good luck, sir. Please tell me your name.
Jose Alvarado Leiva.
22MM21AO. Sir, you're here charged with battery and domestic violence. There is probable cause. I'll appoint an attorney to represent you.
Your Honor, this is a co-defendant case. I don't know if you want the co-defendant as well.
Yes, can we bring out the co-defendant?
Omar Perez.
Thank you, counsel. But at this time, I think I need the interpreter to disconnect from the headset because both defendants are going to need the assistance of the interpreter.
Not a problem, Your Honor.
All right, sir, who just walked in, please tell me your name.
Dígame su nombre, señor, el que acaba de entrar.
Omar Caballero.
Omar Caballero.
Yeah.
All right, sir, you're here in 22MM20AA, also charged with battery domestic violence.
Señor, se encuentra acá en el 22MM20, también por un cargo de agresión física en violencia doméstica.
There is probable cause.
Yeah.
Determino que existe indicio de criminalidad.
I'll appoint an attorney to represent you as well,
Se le designará un abogado para que lo represente.
No, todavía.
because each of you is listed as a victim in the other person's case. You have the right to speak as the victim if you wish.
Ya que cada uno de ustedes fue nombrado como supuesta víctima en el otro caso del otro acusado, cada uno tiene el derecho de hablar como víctima.
Let me ask,
Okay.
Mr. Caballero, do you wish to talk to the court as a victim in the case against Mr. I don't know your last name, Alvara?
Bien, señor Caballero, ¿desea usted hablar en este momento ante el juzgado como víctima del señor Alvarado?
No, porque fue un error de los dos. Estamos iguales ahí.
No, because it was a mistake on both of our parts.
All right, then I'll ask you, sir, do you wish to speak as the victim in the case against Mr. Caballero?
Y le voy a preguntar a usted, señor, ¿desea usted hablar como la víctima en el caso del señor Caballero?
Lo mismo, solo fue un error que cometimos y nosotros nunca hemos tenido problemas.
No, the same. It was just a mistake that we both made that day. We've never had any issues.
Do you guys want to ask them any questions?
Your Honor, if
Las
they're,
licenciadas desean hacer preguntas.
Your Honor, since they're both defendants, they said they didn't want to speak. I do not want to ask them any questions. I don't know if counsel wants to ask if they want contact because of the allegations within this affidavit. I believe it might be reasonable.
Yo, ya que ellos han indicado que no desean hablar, no tengo ninguna pregunta, pero si acaso la otra abogada desea preguntarles si desean tener contacto, me parece razonable.
Mr. Interpreter, could you ask Mr. Perez Caballero if he would like to have contact with Mr. Alvarado?
Señor Caballero, ¿desea usted tener contacto con el señor Alvarado?
Sí.
Yes.
And could you ask Mr. Alvarado if he would like contact with Mr. Perez?
Y señor Alvarado, ¿desea usted tener contacto con el señor Pérez?
Claro, sí.
Yes, of course.
Okay. Your Honor, given the testimony here today by both victims and defendant, I would ask that you give a no hostile contact order.
Su señoría, dado el testimonio de ambos acá presentes, quisiera pedir que se emita una orden de prohibición de contacto hostil
And a $500 bond.
y $500 de fianza.
All right, I'll grant that request, counsel.
Se concederá ese pedimento.
Each of you will have to post a bond of $500
Cada uno tendrá que depositar una fianza de $500.
with special conditions. You can have only peaceful contact with each other, no hostile contact.
Con la condición de que solamente pueden tener contacto el uno con el otro sin ningún tipo de hostilidad.
You cannot possess a weapon of any kind, firearm or ammunition.
Se les prohíbe la tenencia de ningún tipo de arma, arma de fuego o municiones.
You cannot possess or consume any alcoholic beverages.
Se les prohíbe el consumo de ningún tipo de bebida alcohólica.
Ok.
All right, good luck.
Gracias, buena suerte.
We'll go back to using the headset, please. Ma'am, please tell me your name.
Gisela Ijar. Ijar.
Gisela Ijarra.
22 MM 23580. You're here charged with battery, domestic violence. At this time, I'll appoint an attorney to represent you. There is probable cause.
And
Did you wish to be heard, counsel?
yes, Your Honor, I would ask that you take into consideration the fact that she has no criminal history. And she's been in the Kissimmee area for over a year, so I would ask $500 on in this case.
Your Honor, state's only concern is there was a child present who witnessed the event, approximately 11 years old, and DCF was also contacted.
I thought the child was 4.
I'm sorry, they've been together for 11 years. The child
Right.
is approximately.
All right, ma'am, at this time, I'll place you on pretrial release and require that you post a monetary bond. However, I'll reduce that amount to $100. With special conditions, you can have no contact with the victim or any witness in this case. Do you understand what no contact means?
Sí, entendido.
Yes, understood.
You can't possess a weapon of any kind, firearm or ammunition.
Okay.
Okay.
You must maintain a separate residence from the victim. I'll allow a one-time return with law enforcement to gather your belongings, but you cannot coordinate that with the victim. You must comply with any plan set in place by DCF. Any other conditions the state would request?
No, Your Honor.
All right, good luck, ma'am. Please tell me your name.
Rafael Useche. Useche.
Rafael Useche.
21 CT 2451. You're here because you have a warrant for your arrest in Lake County for a DUI. There's no bond authorized on that warrant. I'll appoint an attorney to represent you and we'll notify Lake County that you're here so they can transport you. Good luck, sir. I believe that's all we have for the interpreter. Could you please make a call for the gallery to see if any of our witnesses need your assistance?
Sure thing, Your Honor. A las personas que se encuentran en el público, ¿hay alguien que necesita el intérprete de español? Levanta la mano.
I see no hands. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. No problem.
Flower is mental health.
Okay, 22 CF 34580. Ms. George, I'm going to appoint your office to represent her.
I'll waive the appearance, Your Honor.
There is probable cause. Does either side wish to be heard on bond?
Your Honor, it appears the only thing she has is an out-of-state domestic assault or battery. So say we just ask that you take that into account when setting her bond. It appears her last address is from Rhode Island, so I'm unsure about her community ties. And DCF was also called in this case.
Yeah, I see that she's from Rhode Island. She doesn't live here.
Yes, Your Honor. I would just ask for pretrial release and the monetary bond, Your Honor. I'm not sure, because she's not here, I'm not sure of her financial situation.
What says the state?
Your Honor, state has no objection to PTR with bond. And we just ask for reasonable bonds on each one.
All right, at this time, I'll place her on pretrial release on all 3 counts. Require that she post a monetary bond of count 1, $1,000, count 2, $100, and count 3, straight pretrial release. She can have no contact with any victim or witness in the case. She cannot return to 1956 Lake Fountain Drive Apartments. She must comply with any plans set in place by DCF. She can have no unsupervised contact with any minor child under the age of 18. Any other conditions the state would request?
Your Honor, state would ask for separate residences, so it would extend to when they're back in Rhode Island.
I will order that she must maintain a separate residence and allow a one-time return to gather her belongings with law enforcement. Please tell me your name.
Michael Green. Excuse me, Michael Green.
Good morning, Mr. Green. You're here in 22 CF 342AO, charged with aggravated assault with a firearm and battery domestic violence. There is probable cause. I'll appoint an attorney to represent you. Does either side wish to be heard on bond?
Yes, Your Honor, state would just ask that you take into account how the facts read that it's arguably a burg bat. I understand it's not currently charged that way. However, state would also ask that you take into account the threat that was made regarding if she were to speak to law enforcement. In addition, he does currently have an open 2022 misdemeanor non-arrest bat DV. We have not filed on it yet with the same victim, Miss Bernard, as well as a 2021 misdemeanor bat DV that occurred back in September of 2021. The victim was also Miss Bernard, however, she was unwilling to prosecute. So I would ask that you take all that into account when setting his bond, as he is otherwise entitled to one.
All right, Ms. George, anything from the defense?
Your Honor, only that it appears his last conviction was in 2019. He has the community ties, he's been in the Kissimmee area for over a year, so I just ask that you take that into consideration.
Your Honor, he also has 5 failures to appear and at least 8 prior VOPs, showing an inability to comply with court order.
I do see the 5 prior failures to appear. I do see that he has a lengthy, violent criminal history, which includes prior batteries on the same victim. And the court is very concerned about the allegations in the affidavit where Ms. George, your client, allegedly said, "I will kill you if you snitch. I swear to God, I'll shoot you," and then pulled out a gun. All right.
And Your Honor, Your Honor, I believe that if you set the bond and also require that he has to turn over any firearms with a no contact order. That would be sufficient, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Green, at this time, your bond on count 1 will be $25,000. Your bond on count 2 is $500. With special conditions, you can have no contact with the victim. Do you understand what no contact means?
Yes, ma'am.
You can't possess a weapon of any kind, firearm or ammunition. I'll order you must surrender this firearm to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. You cannot return to the victim's residence for any reason or be within 1,000 feet of the victim's residence or place of employment. Any other conditions the state would request?
No, Your Honor.
Good luck, sir. Please tell me your name.
Christopher Jim McCormack.
22 CF 33180. You're here charged with battery and false imprisonment. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Sir, while you're in the courtroom, I need you to look at me or that wall, but don't look at the witness. Do you understand? Thank you. There is probable cause here. Good morning. Do you wish to testify this morning?
Yes, Judge.
Please raise your right hand.
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Please state your name for the record and spell your last name.
Rebecca McCormack, McCormack.
Thank you. I'm going to ask the state if she has some questions for you.
Your Honor, do you mind if I stay seated?
Not at all.
Good morning, ma'am. Can you
Morning.
please state your relationship to Mr. McCormack?
Wife?
Are you afraid of him?
No.
Has anything like this ever happened before?
No.
If anything like this ever occurred in the future or you otherwise felt threatened, would you feel comfortable calling 911?
Yes.
And do you want to have contact with him while this case is pending?
Yes, I need contact with him, please.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
Ms. George, any questions?
No, Your Honor.
All right, ma'am. Is there anything else you want to say to me?
Yes, I would like to ask if you can please drop the charges. I do need him home. Overall, he is a good man. I don't want him to lose his job with the post office and ruin his career in our finances. And he do have surgery on Wednesday, so I took off of work to take him. So I would appreciate if you can consider that.
So I can't actually drop the charges. That's a function for the state of Florida. This case is the state of Florida versus Christopher McCormack. So Miss Fleming, I'm sorry. That took me a minute to catch up. Ms. Fleming can give you a card with a phone number where you can reach the state attorney's office, but that's who makes that decision. It's not up to the court.
Your Honor, state would have you take into account, there was a previous case with this same victim and same defendant from May of 2021. It was a bat DV. In that case, the allegations are fairly similar to this one, that the defendant put his hands in her face, causing her glasses to break, cut the outside of her eye. DCF was notified in that as the children were in their rooms. So state would have you take into account that there has been a prior bat DV with the same victim and the same defendant.
How old is the child? I don't see that information here.
That was that previous case, Your Honor.
I know, but in this case, there's a child. Or it could be an adult child, I don't know.
In the previous affidavit as well, it just says the children were in the bedroom and DCF was notified. So I'm not sure of the actual ages.
Ma'am, how many children do you have?
2,
How old are they?
16 and 13.
Okay.
They're not his, they're mine.
What says the state has to contact?
Your Honor, given the prior history and given that the child was the witness who arguably had to call the cops, state would ask for no contact at this time. However, understanding that it is within your discretion and can be changed at a later time.
Your Honor, given that he does have surgery on Wednesday, I would ask for a no hostile contact order. And in this particular case, given that there is the history, I would just ask for a maintain separate residence. At least she can accompany him for his surgery. They're not living together with the kids. Maybe that'll help alleviate any issues you may have. But I think because the children are older, and they can, in fact, call the police if this happens again, he'll be brought back here, potentially held at no bond. I do not think contact will be an issue in this particular case.
All right, thank you. Mr. McCormack, I have to tell you, I'm inclined to say that you're not allowed to have contact with the victim in this case. This court is concerned about your history as well as the allegations here. However, based on the testimony here this morning, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to place you on pretrial release and require that you post a monetary bond. However, I'll reduce that amount significantly. Your bond on count 1 will be $100. Your bond on count 2 will be $2,500. You can have only peaceful contact with the victim, no hostile contact. Do you understand what that means? Don't even raise your voice.
Yes, ma'am.
You can't possess a weapon of any kind, firearm or ammunition. You must comply with any plan set in place by DCF. You can have no unsupervised contact with any minor child under the age of 18. And at this time, you must maintain a separate residence. I'll allow a one-time return with law enforcement to gather your belongings. So you can have contact with your wife, but you can't live in the same residence. Do you understand? All right, good luck. I'm sorry?
How long is that for?
Until another judge modifies that order. So you can ask your attorney to file a motion in front of your trial judge, and they can change it.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck, ma'am. Please tell me your name.
Freddie Millard. Freddie Millard.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you the first time, but I got it the second time. You're here in, hold on, I don't have a case number, 22 CF 346AO, charged with aggravated battery, domestic violence, robbery by sudden snatching, and battery, domestic violence. At this time, I'll appoint an attorney to represent you. While you're in the courtroom, please look at me or that wall. Don't look at the witness. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, thank you. There is probable cause. Good morning, ma'am. Did you wish to testify?
No, I do not wish to.
All right. Thank you. Does either party wish to be heard on bond?
Your Honor, it looks like he only has out-of-state history, nothing from Florida. However, the out-of-state history does seem to be violent in nature. So the state would just ask for a reasonable bond as well as to comply with DCF as there was a child witness.
All right, Ms. George, anything from the defense?
Only that he does have the community ties, Your Honor. He's been here for over a year, and he's currently employed full-time.
All right, sir, at this time, your bond is $5,000 on count 1, $5,000 on count 2, and $100 on count 3. With special conditions, you can have no contact with the victim. Do you understand what no contact means?
Yes.
You can have no unsupervised contact with any minor child under the age of 18. You must comply with any plan set in place by DCF. You cannot possess a weapon of any kind, firearm or ammunition. You must maintain a separate residence. I'll allow a one-time return with law enforcement, but you cannot coordinate that with the victim. Do you understand?
Excuse me.
Any other conditions the state would request?
No, Your Honor.
Ma'am, did you say something?
Yes, my daughter didn't see anything.
In the affidavit, it says that children were present.
They were
So-
sleeping. My children didn't
I
see
believe
anything.
you, but because the children were present, and that's the information that I have to make that decision based on that information.
So if I want to drop the charges, I can do that?
You can talk to the state of Florida. So he's being prosecuted now by the state of Florida. This is not you versus him.
Okay,
It's him versus the state.
okay.
So that's up to the state of Florida. I'm sure they're very interested in what you would have to say as the victim, but it's up to them whether they're going to follow this case through or not.
Okay,
She can give you a card that has a number you can call.
thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Good luck. Please tell me your name.
Roberto Morphy.
22 CF 34180. You're here charged with domestic battery by strangulation, aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, domestic violence, and battery domestic violence. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Sir, while you're in the courtroom, I need you to look at me or that wall. Don't look at the witness. Do you understand?
I understand.
All right, Ms. George, did you wish to be heard?
Yes, Your Honor, on the aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, I would argue no PC. It appears that the alleged victim, my client allegedly pushed her head into the wall. However, he didn't use a weapon during the altercation. So I would argue in this particular case, there is no deadly weapon used. I would just, there may be an aggravated battery, but there's no aggravated battery with a deadly weapon.
What says the state?
Your Honor, the state has no objection. I believe the only arguable weapon in this case was the wine glass that the victim grabbed. I don't see a weapon grabbed by Mr. Morphy, so state has no objection to defense's argument.
So there is probable cause for domestic battery by strangulation,
Yes.
battery, domestic violence. It's the wall, because on page 3 of the affidavit, it says aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. Roberto intentionally struck Melissa against her will and intentionally caused bodily harm. So it's great bodily injury. It's not
With a deadly weapon.
aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, right? No, it says used a deadly weapon, specifically a solid wall.
I don't think that the statute intended, the way the statute is written, it's intended to include a wall, Your Honor. I believe it's for a knife, a gun, a bat, a glass, bottle, but they're in an argument and he allegedly pushed her against the wall, her head. I don't think the wall would be a deadly weapon.
All right, I think the state agrees with you. Let me look at the statute.
I'm checking Westlaw real fast too to see if
Okay.
anything comes up immediately.
784-041 sub 2A1. I've not seen this before.
Me either. That's why.
All right, hold on.
Your Honor, Zapata v. State, which came out of the 3rd DCA in 2005, a wall against which the defendant beat the victim's head against was not a deadly weapon for purposes of the Ag Bat with Deadly Weapon Statute.
All right.
3rd DCA 2005. That's 905 Southern 2nd, 944.
All right, thank you, counsel. So I find there's probable cause for count 1, count 3, and a lesser included of count 2, battery domestic violence. All right. Good morning, ma'am. Did you wish to testify?
Yes, please.
Please raise your right hand to be sworn.
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Please state your name for the record and spell your last name.
Melissa Fleming, Fleming.
I'm going to ask if the prosecutor has some questions.
Good morning, Ms. Fleming. What is your relationship to Mr. Morphy?
He's my boyfriend.
Are you afraid of him?
No.
Has anything like this ever happened before?
No.
If anything like this or anything more severe ever occurred in the future, would you feel comfortable calling 911?
Yes.
Do you believe drugs or alcohol were involved in this incident?
We were both drinking.
And do you want to have contact with him while this case is pending?
Yes.
Thank you. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Can I also get a card to talk to the state about the charges?
Any questions from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
Any argument on bond?
Your Honor, state would just ask for a reasonable bond, given the victim's testimony here today, and that he's otherwise entitled to it, and looks like he has little criminal history, and the criminal history he does have appears to be from out of state from 2006.
And Your Honor, it appears his only conviction was a criminal mischief. So I just ask that you take that into consideration, the fact that he's been here for over a year and he's employed full-time. I would, given the victim's testimony, ask for a no hostile contact order. I believe if you remove the alcohol from the situation, order in there, he's not allowed to consume any alcohol, that would prevent any further incidents, based on the testimony here today that alcohol was involved.
All right, sir, at this time, your bond is $5,000 on count 1, $100 on counts 2 and 3 each.
Your Honor, so to be clear, you're finding bat DV on count 2 and bat DV on count 3?
Yes. You can possess no weapons, firearms, or ammunition. Based on the testimony here today, I'll allow you to have peaceful contact with the victim. Do you understand what peaceful contact means?
I do.
No hostile contact. Don't even raise your voice. You understand?
Absolutely.
You cannot possess or consume any alcoholic beverages. You'll be subject to random alcohol screens. You cannot return to Universal Studios for any reason. Are there any other conditions the state would request?
No, Your Honor.
Good luck, sir.
Thank you.
Good luck, ma'am. Please tell me your name.
Andre Vivas Gonzalez.
22 CF 34780. You're here charged with tampering with a witness to hinder communication to law enforcement and battery, domestic violence. At this time, I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. There is probable cause. Does either side wish to be heard on bond?
Your Honor, this is another one that arguably could have been charged as an ag bat. He was allowed in the house, and then that permission was revoked. State would just also have you take into account, he does have a fairly lengthy criminal history, and at least 4 prior failures to appear. There's also an active injunction from the same victim in this case that is currently temporary, 21 DR 14799. So it would have you take all that into account when setting bond, including his Florida arrest history is rather significant and rather violent as well.
Do you have that injunction?
I can pull it up, Your Honor.
I'd like to see that.
Would you like to see the petition, Your Honor, or the order?
The order.
So there was a temporary order on 12/20, and then there was an order extending on 1/6.
What judge signed it?
It was Judge Collins. I believe. Okay. It's printing, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
It's weird.
I'm
Permission
sorry.
to approach?
Yeah, I'm sorry to make you walk up here.
There is a no return within it, Your Honor, to the 1439 address.
I see that. shall not go to, in, or within 500 feet of that address. So there should be an additional criminal charge here of a violation of a domestic violence injunction. Because there's an active injunction. Respondent shall have no contact with petitioner unless provided in this section. And it's not. Ms. George,
Yes.
given that in the last 2 months, a judge has twice ordered your client not to have contact with this victim, and we're here today because the allegation is that he did, this court is having trouble coming up with any sort of conditions I can place on your client with which he'll comply. He's demonstrated he has no interest in complying with court orders. Do you have any ideas?
My only, I don't see that, the only thing that I see here is that his last conviction was for drug possession. I don't see any other type of, conviction for not following orders, Your Honor. However, the only argument I can make is that you, set a higher bond. A higher bond may be able to prevent him from going back. And that may be sufficient in this case, Your Honor. Because I know it alleges that he's violating the orders, but I don't see any type of conviction for violating them.
Well, he wasn't arrested for that.
Oh, okay. Oh.
He should have been.
Yes.
They didn't.
Yes, I understand, Your Honor. That's my only idea. Because he doesn't qualify for any type of pretrial release, supervision. The only thing I could think of is a high bond, Your Honor.
Mr. Gonzalez, at this time, your bond on count 1 is $15,000. Your bond on count 2 is $5,000. With special conditions, you can have no contact with the victim. Mr. Gonzalez, I need you to listen very carefully to what I'm telling you. You cannot speak to her. You cannot send a text message to her. You cannot send a message through friends or family. You cannot go to her house. You cannot be within 1,000 feet of her home or her place of employment or the children's school. You cannot contact her on social media. You cannot call her on the phone. Do you understand what I'm ordering you not to do? You cannot return to her residence for any reason. You also cannot return to your mother's residence. Do you understand that? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Yes, ma'am, I said okay.
You can't possess a weapon of any kind, firearm or ammunition. You can't have any unsupervised contact with any minor child under the age of 18. I don't think you understand the importance of following orders given to you by a judge. Judge Collins has twice ordered you not to have contact with your wife. I'm surprised the state hasn't added this charge yet, but I would not be surprised if they add that charge as well. I want to make sure that you understand. If you violate my court order and you come back before me, there's a very good chance I will hold you at no bond. Do you understand that? Good luck. Please tell me your name.
Cody Cross.
22MM22480. You're here charged with 2 counts of battery domestic violence. There is probable cause. I'll appoint an attorney to represent you. Good morning, sir. Did you wish to testify?
Yes.
Raise your right hand, please.
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Please state your name for the record and spell your last name.
Kristen Cross, Cross.
Go ahead, Ms. Fleming.
Good morning, sir. Can you please state your relationship to Cody Cross?
I'm his father.
Are you afraid of him?
No.
Has anything like this ever happened before?
Yes.
Approximately how long ago would you say the last time was, other than this incident?
It's 4 months.
Do you believe drugs or alcohol were involved?
Alcohol, yes.
And do you want to have contact with him while this case is pending?
Yes.
Is there anything else you'd like to tell the court?
His mother and I's main objective is to try and get him help with the alcohol. It's been a problem. He's had 2 DUIs previous to this. The last one was a little over 5 years ago. He still hasn't gotten his license back because he's not ready for it. He can't control the drinking. And our hope is to get him some help with that.
I appreciate that, sir. Unfortunately, I can't do that here. However, there are some things that are available to the trial judge depending on what happens with this case later. All right, Mr. Cross, at this time, your bond is $500 on count 1, $100 on count 2. With special conditions, you can have no contact with the victims. Do you understand what no contact means?
Yes.
You can't possess a weapon, firearm, or ammunition. You must maintain a separate residence. I'll allow a one-time return with law enforcement to gather your belongings. You cannot possess or consume alcoholic beverages, and you'll be subject to random alcohol screens. Do you understand?
I missed the first part. I was signing the paper. Can you repeat that last part? After the firearms?
I don't know what I said after that.
Separate residences.
You have to maintain a separate residence. I'll allow a one-time return with law enforcement, but you cannot coordinate that with the victims. You'll be subject to random alcohol screens. You cannot consume or possess alcohol. Do you understand?
For how long?
Until another judge changes that order.
Okay.
Any other conditions the state would request?
No, Your Honor.
Good luck, sir. Good luck, sir.
Can I get a card from the state attorney?
She can give you a card. Please tell me your name.
Sdelfo.
Just a moment. You're here in 22MM238AO, charged with battery, dating violence, and criminal mischief. I'll appoint an attorney to represent you. There is probable cause in this case. While you're in the courtroom, I need you to look at me or that wall. Please don't look at the witness. Ma'am, do you wish to testify?
Yes.
Please raise your right hand.
Do you try to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Please state your name for the record and spell your last name.
Claudia Humbachano, Huambachano.
Ms. Fleming?
Good morning, ma'am. Can you please state your relationship to Mr. Falk?
Ex-boyfriend.
Are you afraid of him?
At this point, yes.
Has anything like this ever happened before?
Yes.
Approximately how long ago would you say the last time was?
December 28th.
Do you want to have contact with him while this case is pending?
No.
And is there anything else you'd like to tell the court?
He has an alcohol problem and a drug problem. I know he needs to get help on his own. I can't help him. I'm not a rehab center. But every time he gets drunk or other substances in his system, he becomes another person.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Any questions from the defense?
No questions, Your Honor.
Your Honor, there appears to be at least 2 prior protective order violations out of different states. I don't know if that was potentially an error when this was inputted by pretrial. Looks like one was 11/18/2010 and one was 11/18/2021. I'm not sure which would be accurate, as I don't have access to other state records. However, state would just have you take into account that there has been a prior protective order violation, prior conviction for battery, as well as at least 3 prior VOPs showing an inability to comply with court orders.
All right, anything from the defense?
Your Honor, Judge asks that you take into account he does appear to show up to court. He has 0 failures to appear here in Florida. I'm not sure about his out of county or out of state. He's employed full time. I believe that if you place him on pretrial release and set a monetary bond, he can be screened for the drugs, and that should be sufficient, Your Honor.
Your Honor, there's also notes that there's an unserved temporary protection order with this defendant and this victim, it appears, and then a different one as well.
That one is active.
It seems one that's active and one that is potentially unserved that I assume he'll be served with while at the jail.
Right. Thank you. All right, Mr. Falk, at this time, I'm going to place you on pretrial release and require that you post a monetary bond. However, I'll reduce the amount of that monetary bond. On count 1, it'll be $500, and on count 2, it'll be $100. With special conditions, you can have no contact with the victim. Do you understand what no contact means? You can't possess a weapon, firearm, or ammunition. You can't return to her residence for any reason or be within 1,000 feet of her residence or place of employment. You cannot possess or consume any alcohol or any controlled substance or without a valid prescription, and you'll be subject to random drug and alcohol screens while on pretrial release. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Any other conditions the state would request?
No, Your Honor.
The only thing I would ask, Your Honor, is for the marijuana that he's given the 30 days. That's the only drug I would ask for 30 days to get out of his system.
All right, I'll say that too. He gets 30 days for the marijuana test. All right, good luck, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Good luck. Please tell me your name.
Walter Gerardo.
22MM218AO. You're here charged with battery, domestic violence. There is probable cause. I'll appoint an attorney to represent you. Does either side wish to be heard on bond?
Your Honor, state we just have you take into account that he does have at least 3 prior arrests for bat DV against the same victim.
And, Your Honor, I just ask that you consider his last conviction was in 1995. He has no other criminal history.
At this time, sir, your bond is $500. With special conditions, you can have no contact with the victim. Do you understand what that means?
Yes, ma'am.
You can't possess a weapon, firearm, or ammunition. You must maintain a separate residence. I'll allow a one-time return with law enforcement to gather your belongings, but you can't coordinate that with the victim. Any other conditions the state would request?
No, Your Honor.
All right, good luck, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Please tell me your name. 22MM18AA. Sir, you're here charged with battery, domestic violence. At this time, I'll appoint an attorney to represent you. There is probable cause. Good morning, ma'am. Do you wish to testify? Yes. Please raise your right hand. Sir, look at me or this wall. Don't look at the witness.
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Not you. This is for the witness.
Yes. Please state your name for the record and spell your last name.
Janet Jurkan, Jurakhan.
Go ahead, Ms. Fleming.
Good morning, ma'am. Can you please state your relationship to the defendant?
My husband?
Are you afraid of him?
No,
Has anything like this ever happened before?
no. He
If
never,
it-
he never hit me or anything last night.
Ma'am, I can't hear you. I need you to get closer to the microphone.
Okay, sorry. He never hit me or anything.
Do you want to have contact with him while this case is pending?
Yes, I need him to come home back.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
Anything from the defense?
No questions, Your Honor.
He's a diabetic too, so he need all his medication and everything.
All right, thank you.
Your Honor, there were 2 independent witnesses.
I saw that.
Your Honor, I believe it was alleged that he was drinking. Again, if you place him on pretrial release and have him screened for, have random alcohol screens, I believe that would be sufficient to prevent this from occurring again. The victim testified this has not happened before. I don't know who the 2012 aggravated battery was on. I don't know if the state knows if it was the same.
I'm trying to check.
But if it's not the same victim, okay.
It's not the same.
It's been since 2012. I'd ask that you take all of that into consideration, and give a no hostile contact order.
Anything else, Ms. Fleming?
No, Your Honor.
All right, sir, at this time, I'm going to place you on pretrial release and require that you post a monetary bond of $100 with special conditions. You can have only peaceful contact with the victim. Do you understand what peaceful contact means?
No, ma'am.
No hostile contact, no pushing, no shoving, no kicking. You can't even raise your voice. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
You can't possess a weapon of any kind, firearm or ammunition. You can't possess or consume alcoholic beverages. You'll be subject to random alcohol screens. You can have no contact with any witness in this case either. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Good luck. Please tell me your name.
Andre Masari?
22MM23480. You're here charged with domestic battery. There is probable cause. I'll appoint an attorney to represent you. Does either side wish to be heard on bond?
Your Honor, state we just asked for a reasonable bond.
The same, Your Honor.
All right.
I believe there was an allegation of alcohol within the affidavit.
All right, at this time, sir, while this was arrested as a misdemeanor battery, the state could choose to file it as a felony. I show that his last battery conviction was in 2015.
Yes, Your Honor. And the only other thing I see is he has a bat DV from 2020. It was victim was unwilling to prosecute. It was a different victim, Miss Hera.
There's an FBI arrest history, armed assault with intent to murder, with a dangerous weapon, several violations of probation. All right, Mr. Masari, your bond is $1,000. With special conditions, you can have no contact with the victim. Do you understand what no contact means?
Yes.
You can't possess a weapon of any kind, firearm or ammunition. You must maintain a separate residence. I'll allow a one-time return with law enforcement to gather your belongings, but you cannot coordinate that with the victim. Do you understand?
Yes.
You cannot possess or consume any alcoholic beverages. You'll be subject to random alcohol screens. After the one-time return, you cannot be within 1,000 feet of the victim's residence or place of employment. All right, good luck. Please tell me your name. 22MM22680. You're here charged with 2 counts of battery domestic violence. I'll appoint an attorney to represent you. There is probable cause. Does either side wish to be heard on bond?
Your Honor, I understand Mr. Minkler has, it appears, little to no criminal history. However, the allegations in the affidavit are where state's concerned, mainly lies. There arguably was 3 batteries in this case on the first child, Bryson, the second child, Braden, and then the wife, Holly. So arguably there should be 2 child abuse and a domestic violence. So we just ask that you take all that into account when setting bond. And ask for no contact for all of the children.
I wondered that when I read it. I don't have their ages.
7, and both are 5. I have, 7
Thank you.
2 5-year-olds.
All right, anything you wish to have the court consider, Ms. George?
Yes, in this case, Your Honor, he has no criminal history. 0 failures to appear. He's been in the Orlando area for over a year, and he's employed full-time. He's been there for 20 years. I'd ask for a straight monetary bond in this case, and to comply with any orders or plans set in place by DCF.
Mr. Minkler, your bond is $1,000 on each count. With special conditions, you can have no contact with any victim in this case. That includes the minor children. Do you understand what no contact means?
This form?
And you can have no contact with any witness in this case. You can't possess a weapon of any kind, firearm, or ammunition. You must maintain a separate residence. I'll allow a one-time return with law enforcement to gather your belongings, but after that, you can't be within 1,000 feet of the residence, her place of employment, or the children's school. Do you understand? You must comply with any plans set in place by DCF. And you can have no contact with any minor child under the age of 18. Any other conditions the state would request?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. Go ahead, counsel, if you want to put your appearance on record and announce your client's case.
For the record, Your Honor, I'm Merrill Glover Gambles. I represent Manuel Mustalier.
21 CF 486. Mr. Mustalier, you're here because a warrant was issued for your arrest out of Martin County for a trafficking charge. That warrant doesn't authorize any bond. But as you've already retained an attorney, I'll not appoint a public defender to represent you. Did you wish to be heard on anything on that case, counsel?
Your Honor, I'm attorney of record on that particular case. They issued the bond, they upgraded the charge after he had bonded out there and returned to Orlando. At this point, it's been determined that the bond, that the charge was overcharged, and it's been reduced back down to a possession. But I'll deal with the prosecution and the courts in Martin County in regards to that. This is the warrant that was issued that really should not have been.
I see.
It's been weighed and it's been determined. There's no trafficking amount.
Your Honor, can I have the case or the defendant's name again?
Manuel Mustalier. It's an out of county in that section.
It's from Martin County, Florida.
All right, but since I don't have the ability to change that.
Yes, I told them. But I'll be in contact with them today, Your Honor. And we had court scheduled for the 14th, which is Friday. and I had Mr. Mustelier return to Florida so that we could make that appearance.
All right. Based on your representations, at this time, I'll take no action on the out on bond case. Good luck, sir. Stay in touch with your attorney. She is doing an excellent job for you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am. Please tell me your name.
Brianna Rivera.
22 MM 22380. You're here charged with battery, domestic violence. I'll appoint an attorney to represent you. There is probable cause. Does either side wish to be heard on bond?
You understand, we just asked for a reasonable bond. It looks like she has little to no criminal history.
Your Honor, given her criminal history, she has none. She has the community ties, been in the area for over a year, and she's currently employed full-time. I would just ask for a $500 bond in this particular case.
All right, I'll grant that request. Ma'am, your bond is $500 with special conditions. You can have no contact with the victim. Do you understand what no contact means?
Yes, ma'am.
You can't possess a weapon, firearm, or ammunition. Were you two living together?
She comes and stays the night every so often, but it's my home.
All right, I'm going to order that you maintain a separate residence. I'll allow a one-time return with law enforcement to gather your belongings. Any other conditions the state would request?
No, Your Honor.
All right, good luck, ma'am. Good morning, sir. Please tell me your name.
Reginald Tarver.
Mr. Tarver, you're here in 22 MM 22AA, charged with assault, domestic violence. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you.
Yeah, I got a question.
Let me give you a moment to speak with your attorney.
Your Honor, my client is medically disabled. He would like an ROR in this particular case.
I have a life vest, and when my feet are swollen, and when my feet swell, the fluid builds up to my lung, and I can't breathe. I'm gonna end up going to the hospital.
All right.
And-
Thank you, sir. I'm sorry to hear that. Let me ask, what says the state?
Your Honor, state would object. Under 907.041, this is a dangerous crime. And if PC is otherwise found, this court cannot put him on non-monetary bond. In addition, he does have at least one prior failure to appear, as well as prior battery convictions, as well as prior VOPs showing an inability to comply with court order. So at this time, state would object to an ROR and ask for a reasonable bond.
Your Honor, you can use your discretion even on violent offenses to set a non-monetary form of bond. Per the statute, however, Your Honor, I understand that we don't have the victim's testimony here today.
I said I also wear a life vest when my heart stops and it has to shock and I don't have it with me.
I understand.
I wear a life vest.
Tell me that statute again, Ms. Fleming.
907.041.
Your Honor, I need your help, please.
Sir, I have to follow the law. I'm not allowed to make it up as I go. So I need to read this. I have to read the law. Let me see what it tells me I have to do.
It is 907.041, sub 4, the pretrial detention, and then sub B. B and C.
Hold on one second. I can't get the page to turn. Pretrial detention, as used in the subsection, means any of the following. wait, where is it?
4B, no person charged with a dangerous crime shall.
But where is assault?
It's any battery, it's any DV cases, Your Honor, on,
It says okay, wait.
it's sub 18 is an act of domestic violence, sub,
Oh, act of domestic violence, I see.
and as this is a domestic violence, Your Honor, it's considered a dangerous crime under 907.
741.28, hold on.
And if you keep reading, Your Honor, it does say that you can use your discretion to set a non-monetary fee.
However, the court shall retain the discretion to release an accused on electronic monitoring or on recognizance bond if the findings on the record of facts and circumstances warrant such a release. On what facts would the defense like me to rely that would warrant such a release?
Your Honor, I would just argue the fact that, one, my client testified he has medical conditions. Two, it appears his last conviction was all the way back in 2003. He hasn't picked up anything, it looks like any conviction since then. And that his failure to appear was in 2002 as well. So since then, he has not had any sort of criminal convictions. So I just ask that based on that, you consider an ROR. He's on disability, he's not working. It appears to be his brother, Your Honor. It appears they were wrestling. My client is disputing any allegations of a knife. It looks like it was just a dispute over eating food, Your Honor. It doesn't appear.
I know, I read the affidavit. It's brothers that live together, arguing over food.
So I believe if you do the no contact order, give him the ROR in this particular case, given his health condition and the fact that he's disabled. And I just ask that you consider the fact that he has not picked up any other conviction since 2003. Without any contact with his brother, I think that will prevent any further altercations from happening, Your Honor.
So he can't go back to live at that house right now, counselor?
I understand, yes.
All right, Mr. Tarver, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to grant your request and release you on your own recognizance. But you understand, even though you're not required to post a monetary bond, you're still going to have bond conditions with which you must comply. First, you can't have any contact with your brother. Do you understand that? You also can't live at that house right now. I'm ordering that you must maintain a separate residence. I'll allow a one-time return with law enforcement to gather your belongings, but you can't call your brother to coordinate that visit. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
You can't possess a weapon of any kind, firearm or ammunition. And sir, I'm just going to remind you that you need to stay in touch with your attorney, because if you don't come to court and a judge issues a warrant for your arrest, you can be held at no bond. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck, sir.
Thank you.
Please tell me your name. Sir, you're here in 21 CF 2576. A warrant was issued for your arrest out of Osceola County for failing to appear on a charge of petty theft with 2 prior thefts. The bond authorized is $2,000. I'll appoint an attorney to represent you. We'll notify them that you're here so they can transport you, but because you have a bond, if you're able to post it, you'll be released. Good luck.
Todd Newton, bonded.
Please tell me your name.
Iago.
I don't know what this case number is. Hold on. I still don't know what this case number is. All right, sir. You have a warrant out of Indian River for failing to appear on a charge of resisting an officer without violence. The bond authorized is $2,000. I'll appoint an attorney to represent you, and we'll notify them that you're here so they can transport you. But you have a bond, so if you're able to post it, you'll be released.
Okay,
Good luck.
thank you.
Case Starkey Hospital, Your Honor.
All right. Hold on, I don't know what this case number is either. $20 13180. I'm gonna appoint your office, Ms. George.
I'll waive the appearance, Your Honor.
All right, it's a violation of probation out of Palm Beach. There is no bond, so we'll notify them.
Robert Van Horn, bonded.
Please tell me your name.
Lester Enio Rosario.
You're here in 2001 CF 4160BO for violating probation. The allegations are that you were arrested for charges of child abuse and battery domestic violence. At this time, there's no bond authorized. I'll appoint an attorney to represent you. Good luck, sir. I'll stay the bonds at $500 on each count. No return, no contact with any victim or witness. Please tell me your name.
Nancy Gonzalez.
22 MM 22580. Ma'am, you're here charged with battery and trespass on property after warning. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. There is probable cause here. Your bond is $500 on count 1. $250 on count 2. With special conditions, you can have no contact with the victim or any witness in this case. Do you understand? You can't possess a weapon of any kind, firearm or ammunition. You cannot return to the ABC Market located at 482 West Oak Ridge Road for any reason. And at this time, I'm revoking your bond in 21 MM 4747. Please tell me your name.
Rita Martinez.
22 MM 18AW. You're here charged with possession of drug paraphernalia.
Your Honor, state's gonna announce a no info.
At this time, the state's dropping the charges against you. Good luck. Have a nice day.
Okay.
Please tell me your name.
Lenore
Vasquez?
Sir, you're here in 22 MM 228 AO, charged with trespass, refusal to leave, and providing false identification to a law enforcement officer. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you in this case.
Your Honor, for just a moment, they just brought him up, so I wasn't able to speak to him.
Your Honor, for the record, the state did convey an offer of an adjudication, credit time served, and no return.
Yeah, I'm gonna plead guilty. Yeah, yes, ma'am. So I can go to Beverage. So I can go home.
Okay.
Thank you.
A moment, Your Honor. I just want to make sure, because I see. Mhm.
Can you come up here first, Mr. George? Just one moment. I'm just gonna let her walk this back to you so you don't have to approach. We'll have no discussion at the bench, just for you to consider.
Sorry for the trouble.
I figured that's what you were looking at. May have recently too. I'll check, hold on one second.
Your Honor, if I can have just a second, just speak with him outside the door.
Yes,
Okay.
please.
It was at I-8 last time.
Andres Lafe, bonded. Antoine Singleton, refused.
Okay, we can't keep going without her. We gotta wait for her, but.
Andres
Antoine Singleton, refused. Singleton?
But we have to wait for her.
Your Honor, after speaking with Mr. Maskus, I went over all the rights he would be giving up. He does understand those rights, and he would like to accept the state's offer of an adjudication of guilt, credit time served. He did just recently plead. I checked in our system as well. I do not see any type of, he does have mental health issues, Your Honor, but no competency issues.
All right, Mr. Maskus, I need you to raise your right hand for me, please.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right, you heard what your attorney just said. I'm appointing the Office of the Public Defender to represent him. Is that what you want to do here today, sir?
Plead guilty. Yes, ma'am.
You do?
Yes, Your Honor.
She had an opportunity to discuss with you the rights you'd be giving up if you enter a plea of guilty or no contest. Do you understand those rights?
Can you explain them to me?
Yes, sir. You're giving up the right to remain silent. You're also giving up your right to testify on your own behalf at a jury trial when one is required. We will not be having a jury trial today. If you enter a plea of guilty, I'll sentence you today. You're giving up your right to force the state to prove the charges against you beyond all reasonable doubt. You're giving up your right to call witnesses to come and testify at a trial on your behalf. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you're on probation anywhere, this plea could violate that probation. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you're not a U.S. citizen, you could be deported by entering this plea. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Maskus, I see on a report that I've been given It looks like you were on some kind of mental health supervision in Ohio and may have previously been Baker acted. So do you suffer from any mental health issues?
No, Your Honor, not really. I'm
Okay.
not schizophrenic. I don't hear voices in my head.
Okay.
I heard someone tell me they were the devil and there's snakes on the plane or something. But I'm not mentally ill.
All right. The reason I'm asking you these questions, sir, is it's not that I want to embarrass you or dig into your personal information. It's because I want to make sure that you understand what you're doing here today.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't be in here because I didn't cause any problems at Universal Studios. I was at the Burger King trying to get some food. Apparently, they were hearing what I was talking about the whole entire time I was there trying to get food. And they were standing outside watching me, and I guess they were laughing and talking about me. They've been throwing me out the motels I've just been going to use Wi-Fi to play on my phone. I haven't caused any problems towards anyone.
All right. Well, before you go any further, Mr. Maskus, I want to make sure you understand. It sounds like you think you have some defenses to these charges. But if you enter a plea of guilty this morning and I sentence you, you're giving up your right to present those defenses. So you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Even though it sounds like you think you have some defenses, do you still want to enter a plea of guilty today?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you're not hearing any voices or anything right now?
I can hear your voice.
You hear mine?
Yes, ma'am.
But no one else's?
No, ma'am.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Maskus. At this time, how do you wish to plead to the charge of trespass and providing false identification to law enforcement?
No contest? Yeah, no contest.
I'll accept your plea. I find it's freely and voluntarily made.
Thank you.
I'll adjudicate you guilty, give you credit for the 2 days that you've been in custody. Mr. Maskus, I have to order that you pay court costs. I don't have a choice about that. It's around $300. I'm going to give you a year to pay that. Do you understand?
You said a year?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
I have to order that you not go back to City Walk, so you're going to have to go somewhere else.
Yes,
You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, was there anything else, Ms. Fleming?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Maskus, thank you. Good luck, and you have 30 days to appeal this in writing.
You take care.
On Singleton, refuse, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, what?
Refuse.
Oh, Singleton.
Ms. Z bonded, Singleton refused.
22 MM 222AO. Ms. George, I'll appoint your office,
I'll waive the appearance, Your Honor.
and I'll find his refusal a willing waiver of his appearance. There is probable cause. Bond will be $500 on each count. I show he's a registered sex offender.
Your Honor, State would ask for a no return to Putnam Avenue.
I will order no return. And I'm going to revoke his out on bond. Yes.
Danielle Colbert, refuse.
21 MM 916AO. I'll find his refusal a willing waiver of his appearance today and appoint your office, Ms. George. It's a KPS for failing to appear. The bond is $2,000.
Your Honor, 1 second.
All right.
State was gonna null pros. Your Honor, State's just gonna announce a null pros for Mr. Colbreth.
I think he still has to address the failure to appear. It's a KPS. I don't think it goes away if they null pros the case. He was ordered by the court to be in court. It's its own offense. I would imagine, however, most judges will probably agree to,
Vacate.
right? But I don't know who the judge is in that case, and I think your office is going to have to file a motion in front of that judge.
Judge Jewett.
E or S.
Male Jewett. Steve.
There you go.
William Farrell.
Good morning, sir. You're here in 21 MM 358980 for failing to appear on a charge of trespass.
Can I say something, ma'am?
Sir, you can say anything you wish. You're not required to at this time, and anything you say can be used against you later because it's being recorded. Do you understand that?
Ma'am, this trespass charge was about a year ago, and I got a letter called my attorney.
Your Honor, I believe this case is currently in competency proceedings.
I was wondering that because of the status.
The PD filed a notice of incompetence
Yeah, there is an incompetence.
October 2021.
No, I'm not. I don't know. Your Honor, I recommended against it, but he does have competency. We have competency concerns.
Excuse me, ma'am. My father just died Wednesday. He was in a house fire. He didn't make it out alive. And I'm really trying to get to his funeral. And I was gonna say that this charge was about a year ago, and my attorney told me that I don't have to go to court for this charge. Now they're telling me a month now that I have to go to court, that I missed my court date for another court date. And I'm trying to see what is this all about. I would have went to court for a simple charge like this. I have no problem going to court, ma'am.
All right. First of all, I'm sorry to hear about your father. I lost my father too, and I know that's difficult. This is a failure to appear for a status hearing on December 15th of last year. The judge set your bond at $1,000 or mental health pretrial release. Because it's a capious, I can't change what that judge said. So because it authorizes you to be placed on pretrial release, I can do that. But if you want to change anything else, your attorney is going to have to file a motion and get you back in front of your trial judge because I'm not by law authorized to change a capious. So at this time, I'll place him on pretrial release. Ms. George, can you make a note for your colleagues to get him back in front of Judge Adams as quickly as possible if he ends up not qualifying?
Yes. So you're on a mental health pretrial release. If he doesn't qualify, then 1,000?
Yes. So you need to call your attorney right away. Okay, you understand?
Yes, ma'am. Will I be getting released today, ma'am?
It probably won't be today. It takes them a while to screen for a mental health pretrial release.
I have to go to my father's funeral,
I understand, but that's why I told you, by law, I can't change a capious. That's why you've got to get in front of that trial judge. Good luck, sir. I wish you the best. Please tell me your name.
Quincy Gray Miller, GRAY-Miller.
Thank you. You're here in 22 MO 38AO, charged with disorderly conduct.
Your Honor, given that he has no criminal history, we're going to ask for pretrial release in this case. He has some out-of-state, but he has no convictions here in Florida.
What says the state?
State has no objection to pretrial release, Your Honor.
All right, sir. There is probable cause. I'm going to place you on pretrial release. Require that you not return to this area. Do you live here by Central and Magnolia?
I literally just moved to Florida about 2 or 3 months ago.
Okay, but do you live in this area?
Gator Drive. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really know this area. I could tell you the address, 2286 Gator Drive.
Okay, well, you know where you were arrested?
Downtown. I was downtown.
Okay, but that's not where you live. Okay, the reason I'm asking is I'm ordering you not to go back there. Okay, so I don't want to say that and then you tell me you live right there and then that violates my order. That's why I'm asking. You can have no contact with any co-defendant or witness or victim in the case. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck and stay in touch with your attorney.
Derek Range.
Good morning, sir. You're here in 22 MO 39 AO, charged with open container of an alcoholic beverage.
The offer from the state on the city's behalf is a withhold of adjudication, credit, time served. I did speak to Mr. Range. We went over all the rights he will be given up. He understands those rights and would like to accept the state's offer. Also, I explained that he is currently out on ROR in his out on bond charges. Your Honor, we are currently trying to set him up with vet court to get him some help. So I would just ask that because he's resolving the alcoholic beverage open container charge, that you take no action on the out on bond. He's a military veteran. We're trying to get him in vet court.
What branch did you serve? In the Army? Where were you stationed?
Carlisle, Pennsylvania. That was one of them. I was also overseas. I was in Georgia.
Well, thank you for your service.
You're welcome.
All right, sir, you heard what Ms. George just said. Is that what you want to do here today?
Ma'am.
You understand the rights you're giving up by entering a plea of guilty or no contest?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions for me about those rights?
No, ma'am.
You understand if you're on probation, this plea could violate that?
Yes, ma'am.
And if you're not a U.S. citizen, you can be deported?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir, at this time, how do you wish to plead to the charge of open container of an alcoholic beverage?
No contest.
I'll accept your plea. I find it's freely and voluntarily made. I'll withhold adjudication, give you credit for the 2 days that you've been in custody. Sir, I have to order that you pay court costs. I'll give you a year to pay those.
Okay.
And based on your attorney's representations at this time, I'll take no action on your out on bond case. Good luck, sir. You have 30 days to appeal in writing.
Francisco Velez Chacon.
Good morning,
Francisco
sir.
Velez Chacon.
22 MO 40 AO, you're here charged with open container of an alcoholic beverage.
Your Honor, the offer from the state on the city's behalf is a withhold of adjudication of guilt, credit, time served. I did speak to Mr. Velez, who went over all the rights will be given up. He understands those rights and would like to accept the state's offer.
Please raise your right hand.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Velez, you heard what Ms. George just said. You can put your hand down. Is that what you want to do here today?
Yes, ma'am.
You had an opportunity to discuss with her the rights you'd be giving up if you enter a plea of guilty or no contest. Do you understand those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions for me about them?
No, ma'am.
You understand that if you're on probation anywhere, this plea could violate that.
Yes, ma'am.
And if you're not a U.S. citizen, you could be deported.
Yes, ma'am.
At this time, sir, how do you wish to plead to the charge of open container of an alcoholic beverage?
No contest, ma'am.
I'll accept your plea. I find it's freely and voluntarily made. I'll withhold adjudication, give you credit for the 2 days you've been in custody. I have to order that you pay court costs. I'll give you a year to pay those. Good luck, sir. You have 30 days to appeal.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Please tell me your name.
Walter Caffey.
All right, you have 3 cases, Mr. Caffey, 22 CT 46, 47, and 48. You're charged with driving while license suspended, attaching a tag unassigned to a vehicle, and no motor vehicle registration. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you in each of these cases. Give me one moment. All right, sir, your bond will be $500 on the driving while license suspended, $100 each on the other 2 cases. Sir, you can't drive without a valid Florida license. You understand? Do you understand, sir?
Yes.
All right, you also can have no contact with Rita Martinez. Sir, I appointed an attorney to represent you. You should call them right away. The number's on that green piece of paper, okay? Good luck, sir.
Michael De Los Reyes Hood.
Good morning. You're here charged with driving while license suspended in 22 CT 27AA. There is probable cause. I'll appoint an attorney to represent you. Your bond is $500. Sir, you can't drive without a valid Florida license. You understand? Good luck. Please tell me your name.
Tajay Narik.
Tell me that one more time.
Tajay Narik.
I didn't have an affidavit either. I believe he's bonded on the DUI and he's only here for the out on bond. Is that correct?
That's correct.
What?
He had posted his bonds on his charges, but when he was, when they were processing his release, inmate records found that he was out on bond on this disorderly conduct case.
He has a private attorney, Your Honor, because I was originally going to try to resolve it, but he has a private attorney on the out on bond.
So he doesn't actually have a case in front of this court?
No, Judge.
How do I have jurisdiction over this?
Per our conversations at length last time, I'm not sure.
When was he seen at first appearance?
For the disorderly?
No, the
You
DUI.
mean for the DUI charges?
Yes.
He was supposed to be seen today if he would not have bonded.
Oh, but he posted his own bond, so he's never
He
seen.
posted his own bond, yes.
All right, well, I don't really think I have jurisdiction over that, so I'm taking no action. Good luck, sir. Call your attorney. I'm not doing anything. I don't think I have jurisdiction.
Robert Robinson.
That's what I'm saying. I'm taking no action on that because I don't think I have jurisdiction over it. There's nothing to be seen by me today. There's no charge for me to see him. He is already released on the DUI. All right. Sir, you're here in 22 CT 13380, charged with driving while under the influence. There is probable cause. I'll appoint an attorney to represent you. Your bond is $1,000. You can't drive without a valid Florida license. You can't possess or consume any alcoholic beverages. You'll be subject to random alcohol screens. You can't possess or consume any controlled substance without a valid prescription. You'll be subject to random drug screens. Is he out on bond on a case?
No, Your Honor, that's a hold for him being a high-risk sex offender.
I do see that you are a sex offender. Sir, all of your sex offender reporting requirements, you must still maintain. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck, sir.
How much the bond is?
I'm sorry?
How much the bond is? Okay.
Good morning, good afternoon. My name is Reginald Baldwin.
Good afternoon, sir. You're here in 20 CT 281680 for violating probation. The allegation is that you committed the offenses of battery on a law enforcement officer and battery domestic violence on January 4th. There's no bond authorized, and I'll appoint an attorney to represent you. And 21 CF 7907, a capias was issued for your arrest for failing to appear for court. There's no bond authorized on that either, and I'll appoint an attorney to represent you in that case as well. Good luck, sir. Do you have a question?
Yes, ma'am. On that case or the failure to appear in court, I did go to court.
Don't talk about the facts.
So because it's a capias signed by another judge, I can't change it. It sounds like you think you have some defenses to the charge of failing to appear, but you have to raise those in front of the trial judge. I'll give you a moment to discuss with your attorney.
Kenneth Banfield.
Good morning, sir. You're here in 22 CF 338AO, charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. There is probable cause. Did either side wish to be heard on bond?
Your Honor, state we just asked for a reasonable bond and a no return.
And I just ask that you take into consideration his last offense was 2019 for trespass.
All right, Mr. Banfield, I'll stay your bond at $2,500. With special conditions, you can have no contact with the victim in this case. Do you understand what no contact means?
How do because I live there, how do I get my stuff from there?
I'm going to order you to maintain a separate residence and allow a one-time return with law enforcement. So you'll get to go back one time to gather your belongings, but you'll be escorted by law enforcement. You can't possess a weapon of any kind, firearm or ammunition. You can't possess or consume any alcoholic beverages. All right, good luck, sir.
Daniel Bates.
Good morning. You're here in 22 CF 33280, charged with grand theft of a motor vehicle, burglary of a conveyance, and grand theft. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you.
Yes.
Your Honor, can the state have 24 hours to obtain additional affidavits? I believe there's PC for some things, however, it's not great, to say the least.
Yes, Your Honor.
Threadbare.
Yes.
Yes, I was anticipating a motion in this case, so I will grant the state 24 hours. What that means, sir, is I'm staying your bonds as they are. If you are able to post the bonds, you can post out. You can be released, but if not, you'll come back tomorrow to see the judge.
Right.
All right, good luck, sir.
Basic legal behavior, Your Honor.
21 CF 15232. I'll appoint your office, Ms. George.
I'll waive the appearance.
It's a warrant with a $1,000 bond. And I'll order the no contact and no return.
Marcia Pride.
Good morning. You're here in 22 CF 344AO, charged with attempted possession of a firearm by a convicted felon and possession of amphetamines. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you.
Yes.
I need a moment to pull this back up. Oh, thank you.
Your Honor, I believe it was supposed to be possession of a concealed weapon due to the weapon being brass knuckles.
Right, that was my question.
I believe it was just a statute error on behalf of the officer. I'll get the correct statute, Your Honor.
All right, so there is probable cause for the possession of amphetamine and possession of a deadly weapon.
Your Honor, state would ask for carrying a concealed weapon by a convicted felon. 790.23. I don't know why it's coming up that way. However, that is the correct statute for.
All right, there's probable cause for that. Carrying concealed weapon by a convicted felon.
The correct statute, I don't know why it's coming up as attempted possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. 790.23.
Yes. Your bond will be $5,000 on count 1, $150 on count 2. With special conditions, you can't possess or consume any controlled substance without a valid prescription. You can't possess a weapon of any kind, firearm, or ammunition. Any other conditions the state would request?
Your Honor, due to this being due to a fight, the state would ask for a no return to 29 Harbor Key Court.
All right, I'll order you can't return there or have contact with any victim or witness in the case. Good luck, ma'am. Good morning, sir. You're here in 22 CF 340AO, charged with possession of MDMA and possession of drug paraphernalia, and 22 MO 4180, charged with open container of an alcoholic beverage. At this time, I'll appoint an attorney to represent you in both of these cases. There is probable cause. Give me a moment. Your bond is $1,000 on the possession of MDMA, $100 on the drug paraphernalia, and $100 on the possession of an open container. With special conditions, sir, you can't possess or consume any alcohol or any controlled substance without a valid prescription. Do you live near Grove Park Drive and North Division Avenue? All right, I'm going to order you not return there. You can't have any contact with any known drug dealers. I'm inclined to revoke his bond, counsel. He's out on bond for possession of a controlled substance and paraphernalia.
I would just ask that you revoke his double, given it's a non-violent offense. It appears he may have a drug problem.
What says the state?
Your Honor, it has been filed. State has no objection to a revoke and double due to defense's argument.
They only filed on the possession of controlled substance charge, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, sir, I'm going to revoke that bond. However, instead of holding you at no bond, based on your attorney's arguments, I will set your new bond at $2,000 on that count with the same conditions. You understand? Good luck, sir.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Anthony Santana.
Good afternoon, sir. You're here in 22 CF 120AO because a warrant was issued for your arrest, charging you with petty theft with 2 prior convictions, resisting a merchant, and trespass on property after warning. Another judge has already found probable cause in this case. I'll appoint an attorney to represent you. Your bond is $1,000 on count 1, $250 each on counts 2 and 3. With special conditions, you can have no contact with any victim or witness. You can't return to the scene for any reason.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other conditions the state would request?
No, Your Honor.
All right, good luck, sir.
Ron Thompson, bonded.
What about Schwartz? I have a Richard Schwartz.
Richard Schwartz.
Good morning, sir. You're here in 22 CF 339AO, charged with trafficking in fentanyl 4 grams or more. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you in this case. I'm appointing an attorney to represent you. There is probable cause. Did you wish to be heard, Ms. George?
As far as the bond is concerned, Your Honor, it looks like his last conviction was in 2018. Understanding that it is fentanyl, which is a very serious drug, I would ask that you at least consider reducing the $100,000 bond a little, Your Honor. He's on Social Security disability. He's been on there for 10 years.
Thank you. What says the state?
Your Honor, I believe the bond schedule sets it at 1,000 or 100,000. I know you're not bound by that. However, the state's concern is he does have prior drug history, and it appears he hasn't been at this location for very long. He's been there approximately a month. So given that he has had a prior failure to appear, given it was very, very long ago, the state's concerned regarding his likelihood to come back to court.
All right, thank you both. I'm not inclined to change it at this time. Sir, your bond will be $100,000. You can have no contact with any known drug dealers. You can't possess or consume any controlled substance without a valid prescription. On that green piece of paper is a phone number for you to call your attorney. Call them right away and ask them to schedule a motion to reduce the bond in front of your trial judge. All right, good luck, sir.
When I left, I said we were gonna get out at noon.
I can't either. All right, anything else before court is adjourned?
Nothing from the state.